What if I told you, fewer people these days are broken by the lack of money, or talent, or even opportunity. They're broken by something even more lethal, the fragility of their own mind. We scroll mindlessly, seeking cheap dopamine. We compare our lives to strangers on the internet and think we're in perpetual catch-up. We pursue comfort, cushy beds, takeout, convenient options. But the more we pursue comfort, the sadder, weaker, and more restless we get. The harsh reality: comfort is murdering us, and what rescues us is not greater ease but greater strength, not avoidance of difficulty, but mastery in meeting it head-on. The old Stoics understood it a few thousand years ago. Long before there were smartphones, social media, motivational speakers, they had already learned the laws of resilience, the principles of an unshakable mind. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher, emperor, recorded in his personal diary, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is not poetry. That is a weapon. That is the manual for mental toughness. In this video, we're exploring 4 ruthless Stoic laws that'll make you mentally indestructible. They're not feel-good mantras. They're ancient realities, battle-hardened in the mayhem of Rome, and still acutely pertinent to your life today. And before we begin, I require you to do a single thing. If growth matters to you, if dominating yourself matters, then don't watch this video as background noise. Lean forward, engage. Comment when a point strikes you. Share this with someone who will benefit from it. And most importantly, don't miss a single section, because even skipping one of these 4 laws might cost you your peace, your discipline, or your courage when you need it most. The vast majority of people feel that strength is built by staying away from pain. They perceive that the purpose of life is to surround yourself with a soft cushion of ease, convenient work, convenient food, convenient distractions. But the Stoics, they thought the complete opposite. They taught, hardship is not your enemy, hardship is your instructor. Marcus Aurelius was endured war, betrayal, sickness, and perpetual stress as the emperor of Rome, but he didn't plead for ease. He embraced hardship. Why? Because he understood what few people ever come to know, that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Consider that for a minute. Every rejection, every failure, every setback isn't a dead end. It is the path itself. Modern life says, avoid the pain. Stoicism says back, train for it. That cold shower you don't want to take, that is not just discomfort. That is your willpower lifting weights. That awkward conversation you are avoiding, that is not just awkward. That is your courage sharpening. That exercise you avoid because you are tired, that is not just exercise. That is the carving of your character. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, would specifically sleep on the floor, eat simple food, and wear coarse clothes, not out of misery, not out of self-hate, but to show himself that he could handle it. He would say, "Is this the suffering I dreaded?" And by doing so, he took away from difficulty its ability to intimidate him. Here is the reality. Inconvenience is your sparring partner. It beats you up, but it makes you stronger. Each time you opt for a little discomfort, opting for the more difficult choice, stepping into resistance, exercising self-discipline, you are training yourself for the tempests of life, so that when life slams you with something larger, betrayal, loss, tragedy, you don't break down. You are already constructed for it. Today, I want you to try one easy thing. Pick one small discomfort. Take a cold shower. Ditch the pampering. Sit in quiet. Do the thing your comfort, loving mind tells no to, and remind yourself, this is training. This is how warriors are shaped. Write it in the comments now. Discomfort is my training ground, because the only way to become unstoppable is to stop running. How many times do you give away your peace? Someone taunts you, and you blow a gasket. Plans get changed, and your day crashes. A snide remark online, and your entire day is shot. Tell the truth. How many times are you a slave to your feelings? The Stoics thought this was the worst sort of slavery. Not shackles on your wrists, not prisons made of stone, but chains constructed within your own mind. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who used to be an actual slave, taught, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. They can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by them. Consider that. When you yell at someone in traffic, you just gave them your peace. When you ruminate over a breakup, you gave your identity to someone who left you. When one troll on the internet pisses you off, you gave. That is not liberty. That is emotional bondage. Here is the Stoic alternative. Don't stifle your emotions. See them. Ask yourself questions. Decide how you're going to respond. A child has a tantrum when they're upset. A Stoic waits, breathes, thinks, responds with purpose, not instinct. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at the time, wrote in his personal journal, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That is control. That is power. You don't become a robot. You stop being a puppet. You can be angry without being controlled by anger. You can be scared and yet keep going. You can be sad without drowning in sadness. And here is the tough truth. That means you can't blame others anymore. You can't say, "He ruined my day." You can't say, "She made me angry." No, the response is always yours. But that is also the empowering part, because if it is your choice, then you can choose differently. So here's your practice. The next time you feel triggered, stop, breathe. Ask yourself, is this useful right now? Then respond with intention, not impulse. This isn't weakness. This is rare strength, because where everyone else is emotional, reactive, crazy, the peaceful person shines. Centered, indomitable, write it in the comments now. I am in control of my emotions. They are not in control of me. That is Stoic freedom. Let's be brutally honest. One of the quickest ways to suffer is to expect life to be fair. You work hard, only for someone more idle to be promoted. You love with all your heart, only for them to leave you for another. You do the right thing, and yet punished you are, and then the rage sets in. This isn't fair. But here is the truth the Stoics realized. Fairness is not a law of the universe. It is a narrative we create. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You can do wrong by doing nothing." Even as Emperor of Rome, he encountered corruption, betrayal, injustice on a daily basis. But rather than suffocate in bitterness, he anchored himself in one truth. Life will never be fair, but you can always be brave. Seneca was blunt. Sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Most people live their lives expecting the world to play nice. They wait for the boss to see their effort. They wait for karma to catch the cheater. They wait for everything to balance out. But not the Stoic. The Stoic prepares. The Stoic adjusts. The Stoic creates strength within so powerful that even injustice can't shatter them. Because here is the brutal reality. Good people get hurt. Evil people occasionally win. Effort doesn't always equal reward. That is not pessimism. That is reality. But here is the distinction. The average person buckles under that reality. The Stoic becomes unstoppable because of it. Fairness is not guaranteed. Strength is. Resilience is. Freedom is. So here is your practice. When life hits you with something unfair, don't waste your energy saying, "Why me?" Instead ask, "How will I respond?" Because radical responsibility is not about blaming yourself. It is about taking back your power. You don't control the hit, but you always control the comeback. That is what makes the difference between the fragile and the unshakable. Not perfection, not luck, but the capacity to walk proudly forward even when life kicks you around. Write it in the comments now. Life owes me nothing. I owe myself strength. That is Stoic freedom. That is power.